And I'm back, this time with live action Maleficent. Now, I'll be honest, I think the first film did pretty well with capturing the essence of animated Maleficent, though I do think the makeup could have been a bit more unique, because the reason animation makeup is so simple is because you have to animate it. So seeing live action Maleficent with just a smoky eye was kind of disappointing. Also, I know she's not technically green in the animated version, she's more like a gray-green, but still would have loved it if the makeup team did more with her skin tone, you know? Outfit-wise, fine. She does get a lot of outfits in the first film, and honestly, I liked a good deal of them, even though they were a bit too plain. They were all pretty close to being period accurate, with some fun flair to the fact that Maleficent is a fairy or phoenix bird lady. The movies kind of just started going crazy with her background, which I'll talk about later, but her iconic robe did make it into the first film, and it's fine. Like, it looks super close to the original, and that's great, but I don't know, I guess I was hoping for more. Like, yeah, the outfit is pretty simple in the animated version, but I feel there's a lot that could have been done. Also, the lack of purple kills me. Like, yeah, originally it was meant to make her outfit not blend in on itself, but for live action stuff, that's not really a problem, but boy, does it feel like a letdown. Don't get me wrong, I love a solid black number, but the added drama of the purple really sold the outfit. So again, it's kind of disappointing not to see it in live action because there's so much that could have been done. Also, it bugs me the neck of her head cover doesn't go all the way down. The skin showing just feels wrong, but yeah, I can't exactly call it bad because, like, there's nothing really wrong with it, but it's definitely not show-stopping, and I feel that's becoming an issue with a lot of villain characters lately. But I mean, the scene was still cool regardless. Also, when the movie was being made and the actors were being picked, I did think Angelina was a good pick. I think her features match, and I like how they added more visual effects to her face to make her seem otherworldly. Still wish they did more though, but still, she did really great. It's just her storyline I've had issues with. The first film was fine, you know, the whole mother-daughter thing, I could look past that was fine. It's just the fairy part, specifically the part where they keep calling her a fairy, and it's like, no, she's not. I mean, in a way, yeah, because fairy is kinda an umbrella term for fae-like creatures. So, like, she is, but she isn't. Based on the design, it's pretty clear she's a Vila. No, not the kind in Harry Potter, the actual creature from Slavic folktale. They're basically just female fairy-like creatures. They're much bigger and have bird-like wings, and I do think the movie referenced these creatures because Maleficent's powers are pretty similar to them, with being able to shapeshift, control nature, and many other crazy abilities. And honestly, that is fine because in the animation, we don't really know what Maleficent is, as she has no wings like the OG fairies. Either way, it just kind of sucked that in the second movie they called her and the other dark fae fairies. But also the fact that they make Maleficent related to the Phoenix, which again, no, that's not how Fae lore works. And I've said this probably a million times, but if you're going to use actual lore, it might be helpful to actually research what you're adding into your world building, because they really should have just stuck with them being Vilas and called them nature spirits, which is what a Vila is basically. Like, a lot of their power has to do with nature. Plus, they could have worked in why the Vilas don't like humans anymore, because a lot of their lore does have to do with Vilas helping heroes out with prophecies and their healing abilities, like heroes went and sought after them. So it's like, you could have included the fact that they don't like humans because they're being taken advantage of. That would have been a good story point instead of using the stupid fucking phoenix. Sorry. Plus, I mean, if they wanted to add the phoenix, which is Greek lore, not Slavic, they could have just said the bird was their god, or like bless the original leaders with its powers, and instead of saying they're related, which I get, like the whole cycle, rebirth, blah 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 blah, but that never really comes into play until she gets shot and then is reborn, and it's like, okay, I get the symbolism, thank you. It didn't elevate the story in any way. like at the end of it, I just think there was so much that could have been done lore wise. Like, fae lore is crazy. There's so many different types of faes and even courts and realms, and yet we get another forest with non-magical flowers. Yay! These movies could have been so much more fun if they just went a tiny bit harder on the world and lore and fashion design. Woo. But anyway, on to the design. So this was hard as fuck to do. I originally was going to make Maleficent more bug-like and make her a true fairy, similar to the three good fairies, who I have to say got done so dirty in the live action. Like, damn, what happened? Their characters really went out the window, huh? But anyway, yeah, I was gonna make Maleficent more bug-like and broken-looking, similar to her concept art in the animated movie, but decided to stick to what the live action movie was trying to do by making her a Vila, though I've added more to the idea to this type of fae, because honestly they're just women with bird wings, and of course they're insanely beautiful, but where's the fun in that? Though apparently they also have hooves. It's the one part of them that they find ugly and will kill anybody who sees their hooves, so that's fun. Plus, with Maleficent's horns, it kind of helped with the design process on why I kept the idea. So yeah, I went more bird with her design, which honestly works so much better for me since the 14th century outfit I put her in fits better with the theme than when I made her more bug-like, so yeah. Anyway, I kept her original silhouette from both the animated and live action, since surprisingly, her outfit from the animated film is pretty historical, including the live action because they're literally almost the exact same design. But the dress style is called a houpelette. The best way I can describe it is that it's kind of like a big shirt. It's pretty massive, which is also kind of like a fun hint to look how much money I have because of the amount of fabric, as again, wealth was noticed by the amount of fabric you could afford. The dress is also usually lined with fur, but you'll see the animators just made her underdress purple fabric, which is fine, while yeah, it was mainly lined with fur, but during the spring and summertime it was often linen, so it's not too big of a deal. Anyway, the sleeves are also pretty historical too, as sleeves were often cut into decorative patterns such as scallops, embattled tab, or leaf shapes. So it's pretty cool that they chose to do like a flame pattern for her sleeves, yet the live action just did simple straight cut sleeves, which like, come on. So I kept the design pretty close to the original, but added a bit more to the whole I'm not a human thing she's got going on. So I made her collar a lot bigger and made the collar less pointed and more feathered by adding actual feathers. And instead of it going all the way down like the dress would have been, I just had it stop at her waist, mostly to give the illusion that the feathers are a part of her, along with making it seem the dress is her body, hence to why the shoulder length area of the sleeve is feathers as well. And speaking of sleeves, I kept the original shape since Belle's sleeves are historical for the 14th century, but I did reshape her sleeves pattern a bit more just so it wouldn't get confused for feathers, since this part of her dress is more fire based, which low-key I hate that they made the raven the dragon in the live action. Like at the end of it I get why, but still. As for her belt, I wasn't sure what to do since she doesn't wear one in both movies, but traditionally this dress was worn with a belt. So yeah, I kind of did like a garter belt type, but made it more unique, or more specifically, I made it similar to one of Terry Mugler's designs, because his Birds of Paradise collection will never leave my mind, though I made my belt silver, since it's low in iron, which works since Maleficent in the live action is going to get revenge on the guy that hurt her, but also because silver plays well with her color palette. The added jewelry I gave her, well, it's not jewelry, but I really like the bone look from her dinner outfit in the second movie. So I put her bird skull on her chest and bird claws around it to give like a necklace vibe. Though her horn decoration is kind of more jewelry based since I couldn't put her in an actual headdress due to her horns. Though I do like that both the OG and the live action head covers hides her hair, as that is historical. Though I do kind of find it funny since fae are more likely to show their hair as they're more wild, but I guess due to the time and place and the fact it's Aurora's christening, it makes sense for it to be covered. Plus the silhouette gives the vibe of a escoffion, which is like a double horned headdress, though they usually have gauze or silk on them. But I like that Maleficent just has like this shape, but it's still kind of boring for the time period, so I thought decorating her horns could make up for that. Now, instead of doing the stitching similar to an escoffion, like see how it's stitched in a more diamond pattern? Yeah, I didn't do that. I went with a more spider web, but I did add gems to complete the look. Now, her skirt is pretty simple, well, simple enough, because some dresses did have what I call a sun pattern skirt, though it was more for men. But since women back then liked their underskirt to be seen, I figured this was a win-win situation, and I did style the cut similar to her sleeves, mostly so it could all look cohesive, but I'm still not sold on it since it was okay for sleeves to be cut and not the skirt. But I have a whole thing about matching. Also her underskirt is more jagged and torn looking on purpose, as one, to show she's wild and doesn't fit within the human's world, and two, cause I wanted her hooves to show as a sign of, you've seen my ugly side, now I have an even better reason to kill everyone, even though she doesn't kill anybody, but it's more like a power move, basically. As for fabric, I just did like a lot of ombre to make it look like her outfit is on fire, but I did add thorns to her pleats just because the skirt felt too plain even with all the coloring. And speaking of coloring, I kind of went crazy with it since the live action was so against adding purple and the animated version had to keep it simple. I figured why not go crazy? And I know her colors are mainly black and purple, and the green was more for her skin and her fire, but I always liked it more when it was added to her dress. It looks way better than the pink, though now I'm kind of panicked about how I'm going to color Ursula since her colors are also purple and black. I'll think of something. Anyway, I just wanted her to feel dark and otherworldly in her colors. That is, if her face doesn't give it away. So, since Maleficent is a Vila, and the basic description is they're beautiful blonde women with bird-like wings, I thought, well, that's not anything fun or special, as it just sounds like what Christians think angels look like. Which one day, I'm gonna talk about how a lot of angelic creatures have close ties to fairy folklore, but since the live action kept the horns, and the second movie made a big deal about the others like her having connections to the type of birds their wings mimic, and the fact she's far more powerful than them, I figured making Maleficent more bird-like would work. I did draw her without her dress so you can see what I thought she would look like full on, but to keep her connection to the OG, I did keep her face shape and features roughly the same, as I made her nose more pointed and bigger to give the illusion of a beak. I then also have her growing feathers on her face. Oh, I also made her more raven-like, instead of making her more like what her wings are referenced, which I'm assuming are eagle wings in the live action, which it's just a me thing, but I wish they picked a different bird to base her wings around. Like, yeah, Maleficent has a raven buddy, so I get why it'd be weird to give her raven wings, but like, there are other types of black birds with more connection to her character and overall dark aura, cause I'm sorry, when I see eagle wings, I think America. It's ingrained in me at this point. Anyway, I also made her ears longer. It's always kind of bugged me that live action films always make fae or elf-like creatures' ears so short. Like, come on, I want to see the pointed ears, please. Anyway, her body isn't 100% covered in feathers, as she's still slightly human appearing, so the feathers stop at her chest since, and I quote, Vila wear very little clothing. So I imagine they're more likely to wear a skirt since, again, they don't like people looking at their legs. So her chest being covered in feathers is a nice plus. Anyway, her arms also have feathers on them, and she has very long black claws, similar to a raven's. Also, I know they have wings, and she does get her wings back in the movie, but I'm drawing her party crashing dress, so yeah, no wings, sorry, but just know they'd be crazy looking. Oh, almost forgot. Yeah, I didn't keep her hair covered. I personally like that fae creatures don't care for society norms. Plus, it'd be super cool to see it move when she's using her green magic. Like, think Marcel's hair when she's bringing Fallen back to life. So cool. Also, I realized I didn't talk about her shoulder wings. So yeah, this would not be historical in any possible way, as it just wasn't something that could be made back then. Plus, simplicity was what was popular, so yeah. But I really wanted to go all out and show how modern designs can be included in historical fashion. Like, this is obviously something you've seen on a runway or just like in general on red carpets or whatever. You know, it's pretty ingrained into modern fashion. But yeah, that's about it other than her staff, which I kind of got lazy and just based it off the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance style of staffs and weapons. But anyway, yeah, I hope y'all like what I did. I know it's a lot, but I love a lot, so there. Anyway, fingers crossed, next video comes out soon, as I'll be going to Galveston for OniCon. I cannot wait to wear my Cult of the Lamb cosplay. I've been working so hard on it. But seeing as October is fast approaching, I'd better get to work on the Owl House redesign, specifically Amity, as I have a lot of fun ideas for her and her family, so yeah. Also, special thanks to the new members. Please be nice if I say your usernames wrong. Metro Retro, Honey Fluffle, Eve, Helly Jelly 787, Angel Valentina, Leonardo, Sagmina, I'm sorry, Tari Vari, Zero, sorry if it's the letter and not the number, Trisha Thompson, Rose, Raquel Q, and King Chizilla04. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. It means a lot to me. And for those of you who also want to support the channel, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel and me. I hope you all have a super fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!